You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What is going down? What is going down? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in the land out there. Let me just say that first, before I get on with the show. Now, this is going to be the final podcast for a while with strictly gaming talks and news. No anime this week, guys, sorry, but it'll be the last week. We jump back on the anime train the next podcast. I had to get all this off my chest, get all the details and everything else about these games at E3. I had to lay it on the table, guys, and after watching videos, interviews, and catching up on all the stuff I didn't cover last week, man, I had a full plate. I have a full plate again this episode, so bear with me, guys. There is a lot of stuff anime-wise coming down the pipeline. There's some Boruto stuff going on. Very interesting Boruto shit is getting really, really fucking good. My Hero Academia and the new movie coming out. So we got some things to talk about, but I won't be touching on those necessarily this week. It'll be next week for sure. So without further ado, guys, let's polish up what's been going on in E3 as of late, man. There's been a lot of shit, guys. A lot of new discoveries that, I discovered, and some games that I talked about last week. One in particular, the Fallout 76 game. I found out some new information on that. I'm going to get to that in two shakes of a lamb's tail. But right now we're going to start off with The Last of Us 2. And when I say that this is one of my most anticipated games of whenever, and I say whenever because this game looks to be not coming out anytime soon. All they did was show us an extensive gameplay montage, and I'm guessing if I had to make a guess right now, I'd say probably late 2019, early 2020. Man, I mean I'm just keeping real because if you keep in mind, the Last of Us came out, the first one came out on the PS3 and the very end of its life cycle. It was one of the very last games to come out for the PS3 and that life cycle. So they might be repeating the same thing with the PS4. But whenever they show E3 and they don't say anything about release date, and it's pretty safe to say that it's going to be way, way out. So don't get too excited to play this game anytime soon, but just get excited for the fact that you are going to get to experience this one day in this game. I mean, God damn it. I mean, they went into some deep shit, and Ellie is actually, we find out that she's gay. Okay. She's a lesbian. Let's get that out on the table. And what a friend of mine reminded me of was that, the DLC that they had on the very first Last of Us, game, he told me that he played the DLC, and I never got a chance to play the DLC. I played the game, loved it, loved the multiplayer, played hours and hours upon hours of that shit, but did not, for whatever reason, I can't recollect why, but I did not play the DLC when there was a story that was out, and it was centered around Ellie and another girl, and supposedly in that game they ended up kissing or some shit like that. But that, like I said, I didn't really see it coming. But then when I saw that tattoo on her arm, and I kind of had I don't know, it kind of smelled that in the air that she could be going that way, but that's here nor there. Supposedly as well, Ellie's going to be the main character of the game, and they're claiming that there's no other playable characters, so Ellie is just going to be playable. But they said the same thing on The Last of Us, the first game, that it was just going to be the male role lead, and he was going to play, and then we ended up having to play as Ellie in a decent portion of the game when he got fucked up, and she had to go, basically find medicine and find food and everything for them. So who knows what they got up their sleeve. And to add some more news to this game, this beautifully directed and graphically looking game. They said that it's going to take place over 2 timelines. So I'm interested to see how they're going to do that and how that's going to span. But the game looks sick. It is very, very dark. I mean, darker than I could have imagined it being when I saw it. And, like I said, Ellie's been through a lot of shit, man. If you played the first game, then you know what she's been through and how hardened she's become. And they definitely take full advantage of that in this game. If you haven't seen the gameplay footage, you definitely need to go check that out. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it. It's definitely a must buy for anybody who who is looking forward to a dark, gritty, post-apocalyptic type of game. This is for you. This is up your alley, and I can't say anything else more about the game. Just check that shit out, man. Last of Us 2. It's kind of like a curse in a way because we get to see what's coming down the pipeline, but it's way, way down the pipeline, and it's kind of like dangling that carrot in front of you, and you're not able to, indulge in it anytime soon. So it's kind of like a gift and curse E3 can be because, there's so many great games out there now, but there's also so many great games right in front of us, man. And especially if you're looking forward to a title that you really want to fuck with and play, and then you're like, damn, man, I really want to play this shit so bad. But the good news is, you can kind of pick up and go back because me personally, I'm thinking about going back on The Last of Us 1 and jumping back into that game. I don't know how the servers are as far as the multiplayer is concerned, but I pray that server is still working because that was, I had some dope times playing that. But anyway, The Last of Us 2, guys, I had to touch on it. Check it out if you have not. And that is one of the big balling games coming down the pipeline. So I'll go and move on to the next subject. Want to talk now. I should save this one for last, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it now, man, because now I know I've talked a lot about games and what I want to see and what I want, can't wait to play or whatnot. But this is probably my most anticipated game, period, from everything that I've seen at E3 thus far. There's a lot of awesome games that I'm going to be touching on, but this game here brings back so many memories. And the way that they did it and the way that it's looking now, and to listen to everybody talk about this game is, you can tell that this game is going to be the creme de la creme of survival horror. And this is my second favorite survival horror game ever. And this is Resident Evil 2, the remake. Guys, if you have not seen the videos or footage of this game, you have to see it. I'm sure a lot of you have, like I've stated before in previous games, but this game is, oh my God, man. They basically, they took it, they broke the game all the way down, and they rebuilt it from the ground up. If you think Resident Evil 2 is going to be like the previous Resident Evil 2, then you're sadly mistaken. The game is just redone beautifully, man. I mean, they're using the same engine as Resident Evil 7. That's a plus already in itself. But then they basically go steroid based on the graphics because Resident Evil 7 was kind of like a teeter-totter type of game. And when I say that, I mean that it was also made for the VR. So they had to kind of skim a little bit, skim the graphics back just to taste so it can make a easy transition to the VR. That being said, with Resident Evil 2, the remake, they're not doing any of that. It's just going to be strictly a regular base game, no VR. And they're putting everything into this game. You can tell that these guys put their heart, soul, and passion in this game. You can tell it was a passion project with these guys, man. And, before Resident Evil, this news of this remake came out, I mean, if you had asked me what my favorite Resident Evil game would be, I would always say Resident Evil 4. And it still remains like one of the top games in my book, period, hands down. But I always said Resident Evil 2 was my second favorite Resident Evil game. And if they ever did a remake graphically, that would probably be my favorite, or at least on par with Resident Evil 4. And this game here is stacking up to maybe even take Resident Evil 4's place, man. This game is beautifully done. I can't, the acting, everything, if you compared it to, the first Resident Evil 2, the acting was, and there were a lot of cheesy parts in it. But as a kid playing it, it didn't seem as cheesy. But now when looking back on it, it does seem quite cheesy. Some of the acting, some of the voice actors or whatnot, and of course the graphics. It's like from another dimension, dated as fuck. But this shit right here is gonna remedy all that. This game here is gonna fix all that. The acting is exquisite, on par. It's on point, man. The graphics, I can't say enough about it. I've already spoken about it so much already. And then the story, and the engine. The engine, like I said before, Resident Evil 7, and then it reminds me of Resident Evil 4 and a combination of Resident Evil 7. Because now they have the behind the shoulder camera angle, so it's not like that zoomed out, far out camera in the game anymore. So like I said, it's right behind him, and it's dark. The game is dark, and I mean dark like literally. Like the whole game is, you're walking around with a flashlight half the time from what I'm seeing. It's just a very dark game. And, Leon, you take control of Leon. Leon and Claire are the characters in this game, but all we got to see was the portion where Leon is playing a little bit. And Leon is a straight rookie. He's a rookie, and he got sent to Raccoon City, man. And his first day on the fucking job, it's a fucking zombie apocalypse. And, he shook, you know what I mean? Like anybody would be. Some people, wouldn't even be able to take or handle what, he's been dealt with right now. So basically this is the cutting of his teeth, man, in this series. This is what made Leon who Leon was in Resident Evil 4. You know what I mean? So I mean this is what that is. He gets everything he's learned. He's going to learn a lot in this game. And I cannot wait to experience this game, guys. It's my most anticipated game. And if there is a collector's edition, best believe I will have it. And what makes the news even better, because I'm a big Hunk fan. I don't know if you guys even know who that is. And there's a lot of big Tofu fans out there. If you guys don't know who Tofu is, these are like other characters, hidden characters in the game that, were in the previous Resident Evil games. And some other games too they've made appearances in or whatever. But Hunk is basically a Umbrella special ops enforcer. And he's basically one of the lone survivors. He's basically highly skilled, a highly skilled guy, man. And he's always surviving no matter what. But he's got this gas mask. You never see his face. You don't know what this guy looks like. He's just a dark character, and he's going to be making a return in this game. So is Tofu. So guys, if you are Tofu fans and if you are Hunk fans like myself, you'll definitely be excited. These guys will be playable in the game. I'm assuming that it's going to be something, around beating the game and, maybe on a hard difficulty or whatever, and then to unlock, Hunk and Tofu, whatever. There's different, speculations of how they'll be unlocked or playable, but they will be in the game. Capcom is putting everything in this game, and I cannot fucking wait to play this shit. Yeah, man. What do I have to do to unlock Hunk and get it in? But like I said, Leon's adventure will be just as stimulating, and Claire's as well. And I'm wondering how they're going to do that. I wonder if they're going to keep it separate. In other words, you play, Leon's campaign, and then you just play Claire's campaign. And I'm guessing that's how it's going to play out. I'm quite, and then maybe in his playthrough you might run into Claire, on occasion, and vice versa. But it's going to be great. Like that's basically 2 games in one, and technically 3 or 4 if you add in the hidden characters. I don't know what other modes they might have in this game. There might be a horde mode or something. Who knows, man? It's going to be interesting. With Claire and Leon in this game, that's enough for me. The game would already have been sold as a Resident Evil fan, but with everything else, all the bells and whistles they're adding to the game, man, you can't deny that this game here for survival horror fans is going to be something of a revelation. And I had to put this on the table. I was saving this game to talk about one of the last games on this podcast, but it just came up on my sheet of things to talk about, and I said, fuck it, let's get it out the way. But Resident Evil 2, guys, definitely. And the good thing about it also, let me just add real quick, is a release date. A lot of these games still don't have release dates, but a lot of them do. And the good thing about it is that it is coming out early 2019. I think January 25th is the approximate date. I know it's January for sure, and I know it's 2019. So it's not that far away. I mean, it is, but it's not. My birthday's in January, so this will be a definite present for me. I already told my girl, look, I'm going to be looking for that collector's edition for my birthday. So please get it ready. So whenever it becomes available, I'm sure they're going to go like hotcakes. I'm going to get one reserved, and I hope you guys are going to do so as well. Anyway, Resident Evil 2, guys, in a nutshell. Check that fucking shit out if you have not seen the videos. Another game I want to talk about. This is a game that a lot of people are upset about. A lot of people are excited about. And, you know, I kind of understand why some people are upset about it. And I'm going to get into that right now. This game is Death Stranding. Now, Kojima is synonymous for making games that we all love. The Metal Gear series is quite perfectly put one of the best franchises in gaming. That can be argued among a lot of gaming enthusiasts out here in these streets. But this game here, man, it's an anticipated game because of something, you know, not necessarily that Kojima is known for. This is some experimental shit, man. That's the only thing I can come up. That's the only words I can come up with in describing this. It's very experimental. But everybody got excited because E3 was around the corner and everybody was thinking, okay, we're going to get some gameplay footage of this game. We're going to see what it's actually about. And most of us ended up just as confused, if not more, than when we fucking, you know, were before. Looking at the first little, you know, tidbit trailer. All they basically showed was, 7 to 12 minutes of just, you know, Rita's, the character playing this character in Death Stranding, walking around different lands in the rain. You know, he's some sort of porter. So he's porting different things, items, bodies, all over different terrains and whatnot. And it's raining a lot of the time. And for some reason, the rain has something to do with, you know, I guess it ages you or something if it touches you. I can't quite. A lot of people touched on that, but there was no gameplay. I mean, we saw that he had some kind of rifle, some type of gun, but he never used it. We never got to see him actually use it. We saw him pull it out, but that was about it. And then he just walked around, you know, different areas, you know, just lugging different items around, you know, beautifully. The graphics are beautiful. I mean, don't get it twisted. I mean, it's something that I want to play. I want to know more about it. Like, I would play it if I could just know more about it. Like, a lot of these games that, you know, I'm going to be talking about, you know, that were shown at E3, you know, it's kind of like, it's almost like they were doing it going about it the wrong way. I wasn't pleased with the way they presented some of these games because E3 is the place where you guys need to have some gameplay ready. You know, there's still games we don't have any idea about, you know, gameplay wise. And that kind of sucks. Especially a game like this when everybody was looking forward to that. Now, who knows what they'll show us between now and the next, you know, 2 or 3 months to come. But I mean, E3 was the time. I mean, it was the time to show that. And instead of showing this, I mean, I've read comments. People were just pissed. They were like, yo, what is this? This looks like a fucking Kojima walking simulator. That's what it fucking looked like. And basically I couldn't argue with the man. I mean, I had to agree with it. I mean, that's all we saw. We saw this guy walking around in different areas in the game. That's all we saw in the gameplay. That's it. We don't know how the game is going to play. We don't know nothing. So I am quite disappointed in the gameplay footage on this. I have to say so. Not pleased with that, man. I hope they show us some more. They're gonna have to do better with this. And that also, you know, implies that maybe this game is a lot further off than we might have, you know, imagined it being. Because with no gameplay and really no other explanation of what's going on in this world, it just looks like some sick, you know, drawn up fantasy of Kojima's right now. And I have nothing else to go on. I mean, I have faith. I'm going to continue to have faith because it is Kojima and he does, you know, bring the heat when it comes to games. But right now, from what I've seen, and if you were to ask me today, you know, about this game, I'm going to say it's a no for me right now because I don't know anything about this game. Yeah. I feel the same as I did when they showed the first previews. It's nothing really there that you know, show too much. I mean, I need to know how the gameplay plays. Until then, I'm just gonna keep my mouth closed about it. And but right now, if I had to make a decision right now, I'd say no. But hopefully, we get some gameplay footage soon. I'm sure we will, but who knows how soon that will be. And that's Death Stranding right now, guys. I mean, I'd like to hear your comments and thoughts about what you felt when you saw this preview, if you did, and you know, would you buy it? Would you not buy it. Do you feel how I feel? I don't know. I'd like to hear you guys' comments. You can always hit me on social media. I'm out there in these streets, at Twitter, on Twitter at Studio MacGyver, the Facebook page at Studio MacGyver as well. You can also hit me on Instagram, Studio MacGyver79. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll move on to the next game, guys. Next game I want to talk about, guys, is Assassin's Creed Odessy, which looks to be cracking up to be quite a game. Assassin's Creed Origins came out not too long ago, and I'm enjoying that game. Like I said, if I had more time, I would definitely be playing a lot more of it. But with limited time, you have limited time to play games right now. But one day, I'm shooting for the stars to eventually be having all the time I need to play everything I've always wanted to finish. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey looks to be like a Assassin's Creed Origin game set in the Roman era. And I'd say that would be one of my favorite eras in the game, in a game setting, if I had to choose that in, like a feudal Japan type of thing. Those two right there, are what I love most if I had to pick a time frame. I'm really loving the direction that these guys are going with when it comes to the previous Assassin's Creed game and this one, because now it's taking a turn for the better, in my opinion, because they're going with the RPG style of game now. It's strictly, Origins is basically an RPG now. I mean, all the way. And that's what I love. That's half of what I love about the game. And the same can be said for this title right here, man. It's all RPG. You can play as two different characters. You can play as a woman or you can play as a guy. And I'm sure they have slightly different outcomes by, the gender that you choose to go with. So you can technically, in a sense, you can play it over again. You can have two playthroughs if you want. So play through one game. You know how we do. We play a game, we play the shit out of it, we'll leave it alone, and then we get thirsty again. So we're like, well, I want to pop it back in. And you have the luxury of doing that and then playing with the female or male the next time around. That's also pretty cool. It's looking very good though. You guys, they've got video on it now, and really they made a quick turnaround with this game, because usually I wasn't expecting another Assassin's Creed game like this for maybe at least another couple of years, but we're getting one now. You know what I mean? They had this one in the works, they claim, for quite some time as well. So they're doing good things, man. I think this is going to be a nice, solid title, and we're going to find out how good it is. We definitely are. So definitely check out the Assassin's Creed Odyssey if you have not checked it out. There's videos, and I'm sure they'll be showing more as time progresses. Matter of fact, there's even a release date for this game, guys. The release date is October 5th, and that's like right around the corner. That's not that far off. I figure September is really when shit gets heated up. When September hits, that's when the games are going to start like coming down the pipeline, man. Shit's going to start out. I mean, they're going to start out with Spider-Man on September 7th, and then it's just going to continue to rain down, big AAA titles, a lot of big exclusives. Like Spider-Man is an exclusive for PlayStation. So we're going to start getting titles, man. And I can't wait till September. That's when the shit is really going to hit the fan. But yeah, Odyssey, definitely check it out. I'm going to fall into Fallout, no pun intended, 76 now and break into that. Because if you guys remember last week on the podcast, I talked a little bit about how I didn't really know what kind of game it was going to be. The game, I thought at first, my perception of the game was that it was not going to be like your typical Fallout game, as in the sense of, I didn't even think it was going to be a regular Fallout title. Everybody was on the internet, Reddit and everywhere talking about how this game is going to be different. And maybe they heard that, through the grapevine and assumed that it was not going to be, your typical Fallout game. And technically it's not, but I thought it was going to be like maybe for, like an Android device and iPhones or something like that, or something in that realm, or just like a different type of game, maybe like a puzzle game or some shit. I had no clue. But now watching what I watched, and I had the chance to look at some in-depth footage and talk to listen to the devs interview and everything that has to do with this game. Now I finally, I have light on this game, and now I'm excited to play this game. Fallout 76 is basically an online-only Fallout game. Just imagine Fallout if it was just basically an all-out online game. And there you have it. And that's the fun part about it. Now, me, if you know anything about me in gaming, online games aren't particularly like top tier on my list for the simple fact that, there's always issues. And a lot of times when you want to play, the servers are down for maintenance, and there's all kinds of things that go into that, glitches in the system, people exploiting those glitches, all of those things, man. And not to have a campaign outside of that, to remedy some of these problems, can be a pain in the ass when all you want to do is play Fallout 76 and then the servers are down. So you have to, play something else or just not play anything at all. But that just goes with the territory when you're dealing with online games in general anyway. That's just how we have to do it until they can refine it to the point where it's literally nothing wrong with the servers at situations like this. But it is what it is in that form. But there are some online games that I do love to participate in, and I've had lots and lots of hours and lots of fun with these games with friends of mine in the past. And I mean, there's so many good memories, so many great memories on games that I've played with friends. And so many great friends that I've actually met through online games. So I cannot knock online games completely. That being said, excuse me, but when it comes to Fallout 76, though, it looks to be a very interesting game, and it's not that far off either. It's around the corner. It's coming out November 14th, and that's around the corner, like I said. But I had some questions about the game, and they were pretty much all answered. The game's map is definitely bigger than the last Fallout game's map, which was pretty fucking big. This is supposed to be 4 times as big as the map, so we got a huge fucking map. The servers are going to be spread out. In other words, there's only going to be, a couple dozen, people in one server. You know what I mean? So it's going to be spread out enough to where they say that, you can run into, PvP action, but it won't be like a, all the time thing. In other words, motherfuckers won't be trolling you in this game. You know what I mean? Because, some games, when it comes to stuff like this, GTA is one where, you're just out there in those digital streets and minding your own business, getting a tattoo, shopping for clothes. And next thing you know, you fucking get, bullet raped by, somebody named, Danny123. And next thing you know, he's hunting you every time you hit that server, and he's trolling the fuck out of you. And then, that shit right there can be a pain in the ass. But yeah, there's going to be limited trolling. You're not going to be able to do it. It's not going to be easy to do. Same thing with, I feel that's dope. And they're working on that, and they're going to make sure that this is going to be, a seamless experience for everyone. And you basically have the resources eventually to build, you can build a home or build a settlement and, for your squad or whatever. And you can actually take that with you. In other words, if you want to leave that server and you want to go on a friend server, and basically you don't leave your stuff behind, you take it with you. So you're basically allowed to take your settlement that you build, and you can actually move it around, even in your own server. You can move it. Also, which brings me to this. There is going to be nukes in the game. I think they stated that there was going to be 5 to 6 nukes spread out through the map. And if you get access to one of these nukes, you can choose wherever you want. You can put them on whatever area you want and basically annihilate that area with that nuke. But it's not going to be, as easy as just, I'm going to go find a nuke base and I'm going to use it. No, it's not that easy. Because if that was the case, then like I said, the trolling would be fucking severe. You need a certain amount of different pieces. I think 4 or 5 different pieces, and they all have to be found, and they're all spread out everywhere. So you're just not going to be able to grab them. And then you have to come together with people, and because you're going to have shit that nobody else is going to have. In other words, it's going to probably be impossible for one person to get all of the fucking pieces that they need to launch a nuke. It may be possible, but it would take fucking forever. Now, if you had somebody in your squad and you had people that did that, y'all on separate missions doing your thing, you're all collecting these pieces and you all come together and get them, then that's a different story. But it's still going to be work for everybody, to come together and make that happen. And then you go to use a nuke. But basically, they were like, well, what if somebody wants to just continually nuke one person? Well, no, you can't do that. The way that the game is set up, it doesn't allow for that to happen. I guess once you launch a nuke, it'll be a reset of some sort. And, they're working on that. And I have complete faith that, they're going to make it, make it viable for everybody to play. So the balancing is basically what I'm bringing into question right now. So it sounds like it's going to be fucking dope. The only other thing that I wanted to talk about on this game was the VAT system, because think about the VAT system is what makes, it is part of, Fallout's genetic pedigree. I mean, without the VAT system, I mean, I wouldn't even know what to call this game. You know what I mean? So luckily that was answered for us as well. Because think about it. If you have 3 or 4 people in your clique and you're out here in these streets, in these Fallout streets, and you spot somebody, and you turn on the VATS. I mean, what's that going to do if somebody else is shooting? I mean, it doesn't work. That it's going to work differently. So basically, VATS is still in the game. It's just the way that it works now is different. It's basically like a real time thing. So if you wanted to spec into your VATS, you could still do that. And I'm guessing that when you fire your character, if his VATS is high enough, he will connect on, whatever he's aiming at or whatever. So you can technically still use it in a way, but not the way you usually think you would be able to use it, if that makes sense, in the game. Still waiting on gameplay with how they use the VATS. There is gameplay footage out there, not very much though. It is basically embedded into like a 20-minute, a 15-minute preview, I guess. So it's not technically a gameplay, video yet. I'm sure they'll be bringing us more videos and everything as time progresses and moves on. And I can't wait to see that. And I will definitely be addressing that, on a future podcast. But for right now, it looks to be a pretty fucking dope game. I'm definitely going to be picking that one up. And everybody that I've talked to friend-wise has said that this is one game that is on their radar. We've got a lot of dope games coming out online mode wise. I mean, they're bringing back, the heyday of the online multiplayer games, man, because like a lot of the games that I fucking loved and had great experiences in was, Bloodborne. There was The Division, and there was some other games out there that, I fucking loved playing with friends online with. And they're bringing this shit back, man. That's good to see, and adding more to it. So, I mean, we've never had a Fallout game that had this type of play style, and I'm looking very forward to playing that type of game. So, yeah, your leveling system, you that stays with you as well. If you die, you don't lose anything, you come back. I mean, so I'm looking forward to this. There's going to be a lot of monsters and a lot of different creatures and stuff out there. They claim that that's not going anywhere. So I mean, that's pretty much how you got to level up. I mean, you've got to do certain things to level up. If you're not running into human players all the time, I mean, what else are you going to be fighting to level up, and what things are you going to be doing to do that? So they claim that there's going to be plenty of to do, and I believe them. I do, and I'm anticipating this game. So guys, be definitely looking out for Fallout 76 this November. I mean, so many games coming, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I really don't. Wallet is going to be crushed. I need to start a foundation or a fund right now, because it's going to get ugly, guys. It's definitely going to get ugly. Now, I'm moving on to the next title, and this is a title that I was very interested to see some gameplay, and we still haven't gotten any gameplay, but the next best thing to not getting gameplay is talking to somebody who actually did get to see some gameplay, about 40 to 45 minutes of gameplay, to be honest with you. And we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077. This is another game that I've been anticipating because, hey, if you know anything about Project Red, you know that they created a game that is hailed as one of the best RPGs out here today, and that is The Witcher 3. Love The Witcher 3. Own The Witcher 3. I haven't finished The Witcher 3 because it's so fucking big, and I'm a sucker for side missions, and it seems like I would never finish that game. I mean, there's not enough time in the world. I don't think I'd have to take a vacation and strictly play The Witcher 3 and only The Witcher 3 to probably finish that game. I'll eventually finish it, but the game is fucking dope. All right, just the game is awesome. But anyway, Project Red is responsible for that title, and they are doing their due diligence with this game, Cyberpunk 2077. Now, this game takes place in the future. It's a futuristic world, man. A lot of bright lights. It's a very, very dark game, and they've let us know that. And the one big surprise on this game is that it is not in third person. It is in first person, and this is a super open world RPG. This game is bigger than The Witcher, and it is a it is a shooter type of RPG, and it takes place in, like I said, first person. So I was like, wow, how are they gonna do this game if it's this huge? How would they? I mean, how would this work? I kind of have a funny, I don't. I have some questions on that because they said you can customize, your character. You start out as a character named V, and you can make it female, you can make it male. And they keep that name simple because it makes the dialogue throughout the game a lot easier. The game is going to have your character is going to be fully voiced out. So you're going to have, you're going to speak, because a lot of these games, they would come out and you would have no voice. And this is not one of those games. And, rightfully so, because, The Witcher was excellent in their acting and, the interactions and stuff like that. So they couldn't skimp on that in this game. So everybody has a voice. You'll be able to talk. You'll be able to do your thug thizzle in that aspect of it all. But, they didn't have any gameplay for us to show. They did show the press. There's a lot of press they got a chance to see about 45 minutes of gameplay. And everybody that has spoken about this game has said this is one of them. They're excited the most. This is one of the games that they cannot fucking wait to play. It's going to be a blast. Now, I'm sure eventually we'll get to see that demo. I'm sure it'll come up. It'll come up one day. I'm assuming that it's going to be soon. It's not going to be long. That's what I cannot wait to see the gameplay on this. I want to see how this game how it plays. I want to see all the ins and outs and nooks and crannies of how this works, because I'm not the biggest first person shooter fan. I don't fuck with any of the, Call of Duties and none of that. There's very few games that take place in the first person that I fuck with. I mean, BioShock is one exception, and, there are a couple others, but for the most part, I don't really fuck with those type of games. And I was a little let down, I'm not going to lie, when I heard that this game was going to be in first person. But listening to all the press, listening to all the people, and having faith in Project Red as I do, I'm going to go ahead and lay that down and put that to the side. I'm going to put that to bed, and I'm going to give these guys the benefit of the doubt. And, not all the way yet. Wait, I still got to see, the gameplay footage. But once I see that, man, I have complete faith that, my opinion won't flail in the wind. I think it's going to still stay here, and I think this is going to be a buy for me, because the environment of this title is something that I would fucking love to play. A Project Red game, Project CD Red game, and set in like a futuristic type of environment. And I want to see what this is. I want to see what this is about. They say there's vehicles in the game you can drive around, and they say once you jump into the vehicle, it zooms out into third person. And you would have to use something like that in a game this big, because driving, first person, around environment, you don't have as much freedom or leeway as far as, examining your world, making turns and doing things like that. So I think they did that the right way. And I have complete faith that these guys are going to do, everything they can to make this shit, creme de la creme worthy. You know what I mean? Highly anticipated game though, man. And Project CD Red has a lot to show us. And live up to, as when we're talking about The Witcher. So I think they're gonna do it. I have my faith in these guys, and we're definitely gonna find that out. But yeah, hopefully we see some footage soon, guys. But right now, there's a short, little trailer. If it gives you any comfort, that you can check out, it's available everywhere. YouTube, check it out. But yeah, that's Project CD Red in a nutshell. No release date, of course, in that game, and I'm gonna assume that we're not gonna see that at least until mid to late 2019. Yeah, and wouldn't be surprised if it was early 2020, to be honest with you. Yeah, so that is what that is. Moving on, guys. I want to talk about an RPG game similar to like XCOM 2 game. And play style is similar to that, but it's completely, it's a different story, different characters and whatnot. And the game is called Mutant Year Zero. Saw some footage on this game, and I don't know, man. It's something about the art style that just kind of resonated with me, man. I really like the way that this fucking game looks. This game is about, two main characters and they're animals. Okay, they're like mutants, basically a cross between an animal and a human. One guy I think is like a fucking, I want to say he looks kind of like a hog, and the other one is a duck. His name is like Dux, spelled D-U-X. And basically this takes place, years, not too many years after, but, you know, a good generation or so or two past, and it's post-apocalyptic basically. So there's no humans anymore. All the humans are dead, and all that's left are mutants. And you see traces of human life that once lived here. There's houses and abandoned buildings and things of that nature in this world. So you know that they haven't been dead that long. But these guys have weapons. That they're hunters, and they're just trying to make it in this post-apocalyptic type of world where nothing but mutants exist. And it looked pretty fucking awesome, man. And graphically, it looks to be, it looked pretty dark as well. But it plays just like XCOM 2, if I can give you any comparison. That's what it plays like. I definitely advise you guys to check it out. I'm interested to see what you guys think about this game. It's called Mutant Year Zero. So Mutant Year Zero, check it out. There's video on it. I'm going to try to find some more footage of this. And supposedly it's coming out this year. It's supposed to be a 2018 release. They don't have an exact day. All they are giving us is 2018 release. Now, that could be any time. I mean, and I'm going to assume that it's going to be towards the end of 2018. So if it comes before that, hey, so be it. That's only better. But be looking forward to that, because I'm definitely looking forward to playing this one. Definitely, because right now I'm actually playing a little XCOM 2 right now. It's one of the games that I have in the rotation, so I'm enjoying that, a lot. It's very frustrating at times, but it is definitely an enjoyable game. This next game here is probably one of my on the list of one of my most anticipated games as well. There's only like 2 or 3 games that I'm just like. There's a lot that I'll be playing, but this is like the creme de la creme of my list, if you will. And it is Beyond Good and Evil 2. If you guys don't know anything about Beyond Good and Evil 2, Beyond Good and Evil 1 took place, I think, on the PlayStation 2. I never got a chance to play Beyond Good and Evil 2, but I heard it had a cult following, and it was, definitely a dope game. Now, Beyond Good and Evil 2, though, is its own game, set in the same universe. It's supposed to be a prequel to the first title, but it's a brand new game. It's a very, very big world, and supposedly you can go in here and customize your own characters. It's a third person game. You do a lot of flying, a lot of space traversing in this, and you're something like a bounty hunter / pirate. You basically, get what you can for money, and you're trying to do things for, you're out there just trying to live your life. It's hard out there in those evil, Beyond Good and Evil streets. You know what I mean? But the graphics are fucking hands down some of the best graphics I've seen. Even the fucking preview of this game, is beautiful. When I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, yo, this would make a dope ass movie if they took the same CGI graphics that they've got going on here with this shit, and they can make this excellent movie. Just beautiful, man. And the graphics itself, just beautiful. The clothing mechanics, and they're flailing in the wind. It's dope. You got jetpacks. You can give your character jetpacks and weapons and all kinds of shit. I can't fucking wait for this one. The customization alone has got me like just chomping at the teeth, man, ready to jump into this. I'm a big customization guy, and I love the aspect of that in any game, any game. So with that being said, guys, Beyond Good and Evil 2 looks to be, if you like space, if you like, sci-fi, shooters / beat 'em ups too, because there was a chick here, she was using her fucking staff, a double-bladed staff, like it was nobody's business, chopping down enemies like fucking warm butter. So I'm speechless right now. That is definitely on my radar as one of the top games to come out. So if you guys don't know anything about Beyond Good and Evil 2, you need to check it out. Check out the videos. Check it out, man. It could easily slip. I could see how it could easily slip under somebody's radar, because there's so many games out here in the streets, man. I've done it. I've been, victimized of it. There's still a lot of shit that I have not even seen. I'm still combing through E3 and trying to find some hidden jewels and some stuff like that. Mutant Year Zero was one of those games that kind of flew under my radar. It's been around for a minute, and I didn't even know. But this here is the creme de la creme. All right. If you guys want an open world RPG, my favorite type of game, single player, open world, RPGs. That is my thing. Like The Witcher, that's my thing. Horizon Zero Dawn, my thing. God of War, my thing. Like these games, I fucking love. The Resident Evils. That is my shit. That is my wheelhouse. When I can just turn off the lights, I can turn on the game and focus and play my shit. All right. I don't have to worry about, maintenance issues, the servers going down, none of those things. All right. That's why The Last of Us was so fucking dope to me, because it had the best of both worlds. I didn't even play The Last of Us for the online community and for the multiplayer. I played it for the single player experience, and that alone was enough, to sell me on that game. And it still is. You can put that game out solo, Johnson, and with that only, and it would just, that's all you fucking need. Now, with the online element to it, they fucking killed it. I fucking loved the multiplayer on that game. Very few games can deliver on both ends, but that one did. I don't know if they're going to be coming with a multiplayer on the next Last of Us, but, it would be fucking dope if they did. The last game that I'm going to bring to the table, man, this podcast is the longest one yet. But yeah, this is the last game, and I'm going to bring it to a close. But this game here, guys, I should have wanted to mention it the last podcast, but I was in some time constraints. So, but this one here is Jump Force. Now, if you guys don't know about Jump Force, think of J-Stars, and if you don't know what J-Stars is, it's basically like an open 3D arena with some of your favorite anime characters fighting, going head to head. Okay, like Naruto, Goku, Frieza, these guys from Luffy from One Piece. All of these motherfuckers, man, going in at it. Okay, in teams. And that's what this game is about. This game is graphically beautiful. It looks, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm going to tell you is just go Google Jump Force on YouTube and check out. There's a great video right now with Sasuke going up against Zoro. And video is fucking awesome. The graphics, you can throw people into buildings. You can tear up cities and environments and stuff. There's a lot of environmental damage in here. And the biggest question that everybody's having now is that who is going to make the game? Who's going to make the cut? How many people are going to be available on the roster? J-Stars had a shitload of people. I'm not going to say shitload. They had a decent amount of characters. I'll say that. But I hope they elaborate on this title. I want to see Yu Yu Hakusho in there because he was in J-Stars. I definitely want to see Vegeta in there, and I'm quite sure Vegeta's going to make the cut because we see Goku for sure. We see Naruto. We see Sasuke. I want to see a couple characters, man. There's more than a few characters I would have seen in this fucking game. I also see Frieza in the game. But the director and the creator of the game wouldn't give us any details on any of the other roster. He did say that one of his favorite anime character made the cut, but he didn't even specify who that was. So I don't know who he fucking digs. I guess we need to find out who, try to do some homework and figure out who this guy likes, who is his favorite guy in anime, who does he watch, or what does he read, and we might be able to pinpoint who that is going to be in the game. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that want certain characters in the game, and I'm just going to throw my list out there real quick. I know we got to have fucking One Punch Man in this game, guys. One Punch Man has to make an appearance. And if One Punch Man comes in there, then we have to put his sidekick in there, man. He has to be in there. I would love to see the Deep Sea King in there, but I know that's not going to happen. But One Punch Man definitely should make an appearance, even if it's just One Punch Man. You know what I mean? We need One Punch Man in this game. Another character that I would love to see in this game is Jiren from Dragon Ball Super. All right. The beautiful thing about this game being a new game is that, there's new anime all the time. So, we're going to see some new characters. Rest assured, we're going to see some new characters because there's been some dope anime that has hit the scene and has taken over, the anime world and communities, man. And I can name a couple of them. Like I said, One Punch is one of them. Another one is definitely My Hero Academia. I'm sure that, All Might in this fucking game, a Deku in this game is definitely something that we should be seeing. And I got a feeling that out of One Punch Man, out of Deku, out of All Might, we're going to see one of these motherfuckers in this game. You know what I mean? Added to the roster. We're going to. The only question is who. And we might get them all. Who fucking knows, and depending on what they do with DLC, that's another thing. So they could leverage that DLC thing and they could really get over on some pocketbooks if they do it right. I'm an advocate for, non-DLC shit. I like everything to be in the game, but that's not the world we live in today in this video game world. We live in a world of fucking DLCs and, hot fixes and, 10 gigabyte patches. That's the world we live in, and that's just what it is. But I would love to see, at the same time, me hating DLC, I'd be hating myself because I know that I'm going to bow down if there's a character that, I will get, but only in DLC wise. So it is what it is. But yeah, these are just a few characters that I would like to see in the game. Who would you guys want to see in this game? First of all, check out the game. If you don't know about the game, check out some video. There's some pretty decent gameplay footage and some fights on this game. Definitely tell me what you think. Who do you guys want to see? There's another couple other characters I would love to see in this game. I would love to see Creed from Sword Art Online on this game. There's just, the list can go on and on, but I hope they put the Yu Yu Hakusho is definitely a classic. He's got to make the cut. He's got to fucking make the cut. Yeah, he's got to. So I don't know, guys. We'll see. Will we see some Boruto on here? Who knows? Will we see more from One Piece? Will we see? There's no telling right now. There's no telling. But the fun part is, being able to discover and find out these things. So this podcast is damn near an hour long. I'm going to have to get my ass up out of here, man. I've been going in. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast this week. Like I said, stay tuned for next week. Gonna be talking a little bit more about anime. I'll still be talking about, some of the after sizzle from the E3 and some games that, I discovered coming through all of this content that I've been doing. I've been very busy, guys. I want you guys to also keep your eyes open for the new website, which will be up in about a week. The website is called Beautiful Nerds. So that's www.beautifulnerds spelled, nerds is spelled NURDZ. BeautifulNerds.com is basically your one-stop shop for all things anime and gaming. So basically, it's going to be gaming merch. It's going to be anime merch, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, hoodies, and even some collectibles out there, guys. You know what I mean? If you like Naruto collectibles, if you like, Zelda collectibles, statues and figurines and stuff like that, you can get some of that stuff at this store. And I'll also be updating the merch on a weekly basis. So there'll be new merch every fucking week. All right. I will definitely let you guys know when the store is completely up and running. So give me about a week, 2 weeks tops, and be looking out for that, Beautiful Nerds, guys. You can show some support, show some love, and check out that, maybe even get you some discounts on some of these things, man. So definitely look forward to that. Also, I just want to say again, thank you guys for listening and bearing with me for this damn near hour-long podcast. I never go past 35 minutes, and I'm almost at an hour. So thank you guys for bearing with me, and I love each and every one of you guys. Stay humble, stay gaming, stay loving anime. You have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.